Good morning. I'm going to call this MPC September 9th meeting to order. The Municipal Planning Commission is conducting this meeting in person and via conference call in accordance with the Municipal Government Act, Section 199. Council chambers is now open for public attendance in person. However, members may still join meetings remotely using our current teleconference process. As per Wheatland County Policy 7.13, members of the public are not permitted to speak unless the Commission agrees to hear from them. If the Commission agrees to allow the public to speak, the Chair will call upon specific individuals at that time. Please note this call is being recorded and will be uploaded to our website and/or social media. For any individuals using the conference call line, we ask that you mute your phone to eliminate background noise. Everyone has a right to be present at a Municipal Planning Commission meetings. All attendees are considered, any attendees that are considered disruptive to the progression of this meeting may be removed at the discretion of the Chair as per Municipal Government Act, Section 198. We thank you for your cooperation and understanding. As we have one of our commissioners is joining us via remote control or via remote, I will call a roll call vote. Commissioner Laprise?
I'm here.
Commissioner Bigger?
Here.
Commissioner Link?
Good morning.
Commissioner Clausen?
I'm here.
Commissioner Larson?
Present.
Commissioner Kester?
Present.
And Commissioner Eichert is here. So we have an agenda in front of us. MPC's wishes. Yes, Commissioner Larson.
I'll move we adopt the agenda as presented.
Fantastic. Commissioner Laprise?
In favor?
Commissioner Bigger?
In favor.
Commissioner Link?
In favor.
Commissioner Clausen?
In favor.
Commissioner Larson?
In favor.
Commissioner Kester?
In favor.
And Commissioner Eichert's in favor. We have the unapproved minutes of August 19th, 2025. Were there any corrections needed, or can I have somebody move the minutes?
I'll move the minutes as presented.
Thank you, Commissioner Laprise. I will call the vote. Commissioner Laprise?
In favor?
Commissioner Bigger?
In favor.
Commissioner Link?
In favor.
Commissioner Clausen?
In favor.
Commissioner Larson?
In favor.
Commissioner Kester?
In favor.
And Commissioner Eichert is in favor. We will now move on to development permit applications. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Suzanne Hayes, Development Officer. I have one application to present this morning, beginning on page 11 of the agenda package. It is for an existing accessory building, which requires a variance. The location plan is on page 16. It is located approximately 9.6 kilometers west of the town of Strathmore, 400 meters south of Highway 1 on the west side of Range Road 264. I circulated to landowners within 1 mile and did not receive any responses. We circulated to Alberta Transportation, who said that it falls within the permit area of a provincial highway. However, this development will not cause any concern for ongoing highway operation, and there is an exemption granted from the permit requirements. Planning and Development provided a summary of how the application aligns with the MDP and the area structure plan, the West Highway 1 area structure plan. County Manager of Operations had no concerns, and there were no responses from surrounding landowners. Pages 17 and 18, we can see the site plan and some aerial photos. So you can see on the upper right side of the screen on the top, the location in the little square box there. Some details. The application is to address a non-compliant pump house, which houses the irrigation pump for the stormwater management system serving the adjacent industrial development. A variance has been requested as the pump house does not meet the required setback to the east property line. It is only 4.86 meters away, and the required setback is 22.86 meters. As you can see on the aerial photo on page 19, much of the lot is undeveloped. A portion of the lot does contain the stormwater management pond, which is part of the overall system for the multi-lot industrial development. The County Transportation Department has indicated they have no concerns because the road widening has already been taken in this location. On pages 20 and 21, we just have a couple of photos of the pump house. Staff's recommendation is on page 12. Staff considered the land use bylaw variance criteria and the fact that no concerns were raised from surrounding landowners, agencies, or internal departments. So staff are of the opinion that the variance criteria has been met and provided a recommendation to approve the application with the 4 conditions noted. Please let me know if you have questions.
Thank you. I'll move that the Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2025-037 for an existing accessory building / structure requiring variance subject to conditions 1 through 4. Discussion. Yes, Commissioner Clausen.
Just curious, this is a relatively new build, and we've had issues with this development before. How this kind of slips through the cracks? They would have got a development permit or something and told what the setbacks were, like for someone to just complete, like that's not a small variance. That's a large variance. And I don't have a problem with it, but it's just, how can we stop this from happening in the future?
I can't comment on why they constructed it without the permit, but it was brought to our attention because they applied for an electrical permit for the pump. And then we realized that the building had already been constructed, and so then they applied for a development permit when we brought it to their attention.
So they didn't have a permit? Wonderful.
Any more discussion? Yes, Commissioner Larson.
Just a question. It says that the pump building is 4.86 meters back, and the requirement is 22.8 meters. And if I look at that map with the pond, does the pond meet the setback then?
The pond doesn't meet the setback, but in the land use bylaw, it says if it's part of a approval from a development agreement, then or another development permit, then it's okay if it doesn't meet the setback, if we've approved it under another mechanism.
Okay, thanks.
Good discussion. Any other discussion? Like, I understand that this puts staff in sort of a tough place because, like Commissioner Larson said, like, you can't get the setback without floating this thing. Yeah, I understand what you guys are dealing with, and we're here to sort of make the best of a less than perfect situation. Yes, Commissioner Clausen.
Is the pump house operational now? It looks, from the connection of that pipe, it doesn't look like it's connected at all.
No, I don't believe it's operational yet.
And if I'm looking on page 17, it looks like that pump house could be moved, at least to the berm line. But I honestly don't know if the main pond is not constructed within the setbacks. That's the least we could do, is have it moved over onto at least the berm area. But if we've already taken the road width, what do you do? I don't like this at all, but I don't mind a small variance, but not this much, to be honest.
Any more discussion? Yes, Commissioner Larson.
I mean, I can see what Commissioner Clausen's saying, but if we already know that the pond doesn't meet and it's already approved, I'm not sure this is a hill worth dying on.
Well, seeing no more discussion, I will call the vote. The motion was in favor of allowing the variance. So Commissioner Laprise,
In favor.
Commissioner Bigger,
In favor?
Commissioner Link,
In favor.
Commissioner Clausen,
I'm opposed.
Commissioner Larson,
In favor.
Commissioner Kester,
In favor.
and Commissioner Eichert is in favor. That passes. That takes care of the development permits. We now move on to subdivision applications.
Good morning, Jessica Russell with Planning and Development Services, presenting subdivision application SC 2023-014 to create two parcels within a portion of the northeast quarter of Section 35, Township 24, Range 25, west of the 4th Meridian. The lands are located 1.7 kilometers north of the town of Strathmore, immediately southwest of the intersection of Range Road 251 and Township Road 250. Adjacent land uses are predominantly agriculture, farmstead, and country residential. A portion of canal owned by the Western Irrigation District, or the WID, runs through the parcel north-south to the west of the proposed parcels. Lot 3 is developed with a farmstead and accessory buildings used for agricultural purposes. The lot is serviced by existing water and wastewater servicing infrastructure with access by 3 gravel approaches from Township Road 250. Lots 1 and 2 are undeveloped, with the proposed use of the lots being residential, served by on-site private water and wastewater systems. The application includes technical reports supporting the residential development of the lots. Lots 1 and 2 require access from Range Road 251 to the east. Access to lots 1 and 2 is proposed by mutual approach from Range Road 251. The approach crosses over a wetland, which will require consideration for road design and development at the future development permit stage. The application includes a Phase 1 groundwater supply assessment indicating that suitable groundwater resources are available to support the proposed parcel and future residential development. Upon review, the county's third-party engineers confirmed that the intended use of the lots are not expected to exceed the annual volume diverted from a new well for domestic purposes under the Water Act. The county's third-party engineers recommended that any wells drilled on the proposed lots be located at the western edges of the properties to maximize the distance from the existing wells, limiting the potential for drawdown interferences. The application includes a Level 2 model process report evaluating soil and site conditions for the use of on-site private sewage treatment systems. The report indicates that the site is suitable for the installation of a soil-based on-site wastewater treatment systems with considerations. Upon review, the county's third-party engineers confirms that the report demonstrates moderate to limited suitability for soil-based on-site wastewater treatment systems. The application also includes a site-specific stormwater implementation plan evaluating proposed development impacts and mitigation strategies for stormwater and drainage in the subject area. The plan indicates that the post-development runoff is similar to that of the pre-development runoff, with minimal negative impacts downstream resulting from the development. The plan models the placement of a small bioretention area located on the northwest corner of each lot, proposing less than 0.4 hectares of each lot to be disturbed by erosion. The plan recommends the construction of the noted bioretention areas, installation of temporary linear erosion and sediment measures during development to discharge runoff off-site, and the placement of a maximum of 0.3 meter topsoil berm along the northwest corner of each lot. The subject parcel contains a portion of the WID canal running north-south within the eastern portion of the parcel to the west of the proposed parcels. The topography of the subject parcel descends to the west of lots 1 and 2 toward the WID canal and east of lots 1 and 2 towards Range Road 251. During the circulation period, WID requested a 30-meter setback for all permanent structures from the WID property line and upon review of the proposal, the county's third-party engineers noted that the plan identifies drainage flow directing to the WID canal with bioretention areas proposed to reduce post-development volume increase and provide water quality improvements. Finally, the application includes a wetland assessment and impact report identifying wetland location, permanency, and classification, wildlife and vegetation species risk, and wetland mitigation. The report identifies 3 temporary wetlands and 1 seasonal wetland on the subject area, recommending building setbacks 10 meters from temporary wetlands and 20 meters from seasonal wetlands. No sensitive bird species were identified within the subject area or within 500 meters of the subject area. 1 sensitive bird species was identified within 1,000 meters of the subject area. The lots are accessed by a single access road through the narrowest point of the wetland, with the extent of disturbances limited to 1 wetland, approximately 0.015 hectares. There are no buildings or structures proposed within the required 20-meter setback from the wetland. The proposal directly impacts 1 wetland, estimating 1.13% loss of the total wetland to accommodate the subdivision. The report identifies the wetlands as crown claimable under the legislation of Alberta Environment and Parks and includes a wetland replacement proposal which proposes to pay an in lieu fee compensation to the ministry following the Alberta Environment and Parks application and approval processes. The proposal is consistent with agricultural objectives within the municipal development plan, which protects and minimizes the fragmentation of existing agricultural lands. Pursuant to policies 3.1.2.6 to 3.1.2.8, the proposal was evaluated against the criteria for subdivision in policies 3.1.2.5A to H. Policy 3.1.2.5A states that the proposed parcel shall not cause a quarter section to exceed the maximum non-agricultural area of 20 acres. The proposal exceeds the 20-acre maximum non-agricultural area per quarter section. However, the lot configuration reflects the existing conditions of the land and minimizes the impact to agricultural areas by avoiding cultivated lands, consistent with policies 3.1.2.5 G to H. The proposal results in 5 parcels within the quarter section, aligning with policy 3.1.2.8. Section 3.3 of the MDP considers water resources. The application includes a wetland assessment impact report aligning with policy 3.3.2.4, which requires applications to comply with the municipal requirements and the Water Act when applicable. The wetland impact assessment identifies wetland location, permanency and classification, wildlife and vegetation species at risk, and wetland mitigation, aligning with policy 3.3.2.7. The application includes a site-specific stormwater implementation plan consistent with policy 3.3.3.1 of the MDP. Water supply is proposed by an on-site individual systems consistent with policy 3.3.4.2 of the MDP. Regarding the land use bylaw, lots 1 and 2 are consistent with the site regulations in the Agricultural General District, which is an appropriate district for the proposed parcel size and intended use of the lands. Municipal reserve dedication is required for lots 1 and 2 as the relatively small size of the parcel limits further subdivision and development in the future. In accordance with the Municipal Government Act, municipal reserve dedication is not required for Lot 3 as it is greater than 16 hectares in size and to be used for continued agricultural purposes. Notification of the subdivision application was circulated to external agencies, internal departments, and adjacent landowners during a 30-day circulation period from May 23rd to June 26, 2023. Comments received from external agencies and internal departments are summarized in the report. Administration received 3 responses from adjacent landowners attached in the report as well. Administration is recommending that the Municipal Planning Commission approve subdivision application SC 2023-014, subject to the conditions noted in the planning report. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica. MPC's wishes. Commissioner Clausen.
I'll move that the Municipal Planning Commission approve subdivision application SD 2023-014, subject to the conditions 1 through 8 in the package. And I have also to add something else as well.
Thank you. You have some,
Yeah, I just think at budget time, whatever council's here, I might put a notice of motion in next council meeting that we look at upgrading this road to MRO and the one to the east of it too, which is Township Road 250. Because there's also Ag Society might be putting a building out there in the future. I've heard from residents over the years that it should be upgraded, so be a great budget discussion. Not for now, but it's just something I think council should look at. So,
thank you. Any more discussion? Yes, Commissioner LaPriest.
I just, this one to me seems just barely suitable for the subdivisions proposed. I don't know, when I read through, my first discomfort with it is having the wraparound lot, as it was said in one of the letters. But then I thought, well, I guess that's true of any neighbor. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's a wraparound or whether you're side by side, you have somebody potentially looking in your yard that you didn't have before. But when I don't know, the septic having moderate to limited suitability and wells should be okay, you should drill them on the west side of the property. Like, language like that makes me feel like, and then that wetland that they're gonna build a driveway over, kind of concerns me as well. I do think in one of the letters, the resident requested a environmental impact study, and I think maybe we should request that when it comes to development permit time, if this passes. I don't know, this one makes me just a little bit uncomfortable, but yeah. Yeah. Those are just my thoughts. I think I'm gonna go opposed to this one just for those reasons.
Thank you for your comments. Commissioner Larson.
Just a question, I noticed that the AER mentioned wells that might be nearby, and that Alberta Transportation says it doesn't meet requirements of section 18 and 19. Has that been addressed? I didn't quite hear that in your report.
Yes, they have. The requirements for Section 18 or 19, I believe, indicate that they are under the municipal, municipal regulation, and that the municipality cares for them and constructs them.
Through the chair, just to the parts about Section 18 and 19, what they're saying is that they don't have standing in terms of any of the requirements for the road part. So it's like outside of the notification area for the highway, and they don't have any concerns with the roads. That's essentially what they're saying with that.
Okay, and what about the wells? From
They-
AER says that wells containing H2S. It's page 27.
I believe this has been met. Yeah, I believe that comment was more of kind of a notification. This has been addressed. I believe it does meet the setbacks
As long as
identified.
it's been addressed, then I'm fine.
Any more discussion?
I have a couple comments.
Yes, Commissioner Kester.
Yeah, we had there's quite a few studies done here and recommendations of wells to be on the west side, but in the conditions of none of those studies are addressed. I'm just curious, do these studies come into play when development happens? Or, so if the subdivision happens now and the land stays as is, nobody touches it, everybody's happy. As soon as somebody builds, do all those studies come into play? And do they have to come into play, or can the landowner modify them in any way? That makes sense.
Some of the aspects of the studies will come in to play at the development permit stage. So things like the road approach construction, kind of that wetland compensation part, and the wastewater and water servicing will come more into the development permit stage.
And they'll be mandatory, they have to be met then, as pretty much is what was stated in this application.
Yes.
One more question, if they're not met, they have to deal with Alberta Environment, say, or who, did we kind of lose our authority here, or the conditions you put on the development permit, are they binding? Can the county make sure they're binding, or do we have to rely on somebody, on an external, like Alberta Environment?
There are some aspects that are subject to the Water Act, which is where the Ministry of Environment would be involved. So with their approval and the wetland crossing, that involves the Ministry of Environment. But some of the aspects would come into our development permitting as well.
Okay, as long as it's covered off, that should pretty well cover the ratepayers' concerns, except for the line of sight funds. But the rest, there's an environmental impact assessment. Would this take into account the studies that are all done, or is it more inclusive?
Regarding the environmental impact assessment, it was not included with the initial application, and it was sent for circulation, and those comments came back. Staff then consulted with the Ministry of Environment, and the subsequent report that was submitted was the Wetland and Impact Assessment Report, which addressed wetland and some of those biophysical characteristics on the site.
And Alberta Environment was happy with that breadth of that study then?
Sorry, pardon me, with the report?
Yes.
Administration reached out to Alberta Environment once we received the review back from the third party, the county's third party engineers, for that wetland impact assessment, and they did not respond or reach back out regarding that. So there were no additional comments from them regarding that.
Okay, thank you.
Good discussion. Any more? Anybody else want to weigh in on this? If not, I'll call the vote. Commissioner Laprise.
I'm opposed.
Commissioner Bigger.
In favor?
Commissioner Link.
In favor?
Commissioner Clausen.
In favor.
Commissioner Larson.
Oh, I'm opposed.
Opposed. Commissioner Kester.
Opposed also.
Those opposed also?
Yes, opposed.
Okay, thank you. And Commissioner Eichert in favor. That is passed. Thank you very much. We will move on to SD 2025-015.
Jessica Russell with Planning and Development Services presenting application SD 2025-015 to create one parcel within a portion of the northeast quarter of Section 33, Township 23, Range 24, west of the 4th Meridian. The lands are located 1 kilometer east of Eagle Lake, immediately southwest of the intersection of Range Road 243 and Township Road 240. Adjacent land uses are predominantly agriculture and farmstead, with Eagle Lake, to the west. There is a portion of canal owned by the Western Irrigation District, or WID, adjacent to the western boundary of the parcel. Lot 2 is developed with an existing dwelling and accessory buildings. No development or change of use is proposed. Lot 2 is accessed by an existing gravel approach from Range Road 243 to the east. Lot 1 is undeveloped with the proposed use of the lot as residential, serviced by on-site private water and wastewater systems. The application includes a Phase 1 groundwater supply assessment and a Level 2 private sewage disposal system model process report in support of the residential development. Lot 1 requires access to Range Road 243 to the east. Upon review of the submitted technical reports, the county's third-party engineers confirmed that the diversion of water for the proposed development should not impact existing users, noting that a future well for the proposed development may require treatment for long-term human consumption. Further, the county's third-party engineers found that the wastewater servicing report demonstrates feasibility for the proposed low-density development. The subject parcel is adjacent to a WID canal running north-south of the western portion of the parcel. The topography of the subject parcel descends to the east of lots 1 and 2 to the west of lots 1 and 2 toward the WID canal. During the circulation period, WID requested a 30-meter setback for all permanent structures from the WID property line to all permanent buildings and structures. Upon review of the file, the county's third-party engineers recommended that a stormwater management report be submitted at the development permit stage to ensure that post-development runoff does not exceed pre-development runoff into the WID canal. The proposal is consistent with the agricultural objectives within the municipal development plan, which protects and minimizes the fragmentation of existing agricultural lands. Pursuant to policy 3.1.2.6 to 3.1.2.8, the proposal was evaluated against the criteria for subdivision in policies 3.1.2.5A to H. Policy 3.1.2.5A states that the proposed parcel shall not cause a quarter section to exceed the maximum non-agricultural area of 20 acres. The proposal exceeds the 20-acre maximum non-agricultural area of a quarter section. However, Lot 1 is within an existing parcel, which reflects the existing condition of the land and minimizes the impact to agricultural areas by avoiding cultivated areas, consistent with policies 3.1.2.5 G to H. The subject lands are identified as general agricultural in Figure 3 of the Eagle Lake Area Structure Plan, or ASP. The general agricultural area is subject to Section 2.3 of the ASP. Servicing for Lot 1 is proposed by private individual on-site water and wastewater systems, consistent with Policy 2.34. Policy 2.35 states the subdivision within the general agricultural policy area may be permitted in compliance with the county's MDP and land use bylaw. Regarding the land use bylaw, Lots 1 and 2 are consistent with the site regulations in the Agricultural General District, which is an appropriate district for the proposed parcel size and intended use of the lands. Municipal reserve dedication is required for Lot 1 as the size, configuration, and narrow road frontage of the parcel limits further subdivision potential in the future. In accordance with the Municipal Government Act, municipal reserve dedication may be required for Lot 2 as it is less than 16 hectares in size. The land use bylaw would support further subdivision development in the future based on the size of Lot 2. Therefore, administration recommends deferral of a municipal reserve dedication for Lot 2 by means of a deferred reserve caveat. Notification of the subdivision application was circulated to external agencies, internal departments, and adjacent landowners during a 30-day circulation period from June 23rd to July 23rd, 2025. Comments received from external agencies and internal departments are summarized in the report. Administration received no responses from adjacent landowners. Administration is recommending that the Municipal Planning Commission approve subdivision application ST 2025-015 subject to the conditions noted in the planning report. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. MPC's wishes. Yes, Commissioner Link.
I'll move that the Municipal Planning Commission approve subdivision application SD 2025-015, subject to the conditions included on page 51 and 52 in the recommendation from administration.
Thank you. Discussion. I'm going to bring up this is directed to us on the commission. If you look on page 53 under sanitary servicing, we force everybody to get a level 2 private sewage treatment system evaluation on any subdivision. Yet, in our land use bylaw, as in Lot 2, is serviced by a holding tank. So we're allowed a holding tank. So that means any piece of property can be serviced, or as I understand it, can be serviced in the fact that, like, are we not, I'm not just addressing this at all to administration, I'm just trying to figure out what like if I buy a piece of property, if I have a piece of property for sale, there has to be some buyer, they have to do their due diligence, whether or not they can. It would take one phone call to a septic tank company that would say, yeah, you can do this or you can't do this. It's just that we charge, and it's somewhere in the area of $2,500 in order to get this service, and yet we can, I'm just trying to save the ratepayers money, and I'm also thinking that there's an implied liability there that if I buy a piece of property, that has been subdivided. The county's approved the subdivision, and for some reason, I can't put in a septic field because something's changed in the code or whatever the case may be. Are we not opening ourselves up to liable? So that's just sort of where I'm going with this. We should trying to make things, regulations easier, not harder. But that is my pet peeve, so.
I guess I see it as being a protection to potentially neighbors, but yeah, I'd have to think about it some more.
Well, theoretically, if I buy a piece of property,
Whether you have a septic tank or a
and
field.
I have to go to development permit. DP tells me that I put a septic tank in, or a septic field in, but if I don't put a septic field in, I could just put a holding tank in. I mean, it'd be a horribly expensive endeavor because you're gonna have that tank has to be pumped all the time. It'd be an expensive endeavor. It'd be the last solution you'd want to use, but I think any piece of property could theoretically be. I should probably go to administration at this point. Commissioner Clausen.
Be a great discussion for committee of the whole, to be honest, because there is another thing level on it too. The installers, any septic installer in Alberta has a course. They cannot do anything that does not meet the code. They're all licensed installers now. It's a 2-week course to do it, so.
Yes.
If I could, we could maybe add a bit to that discussion. So the reason that we do it now, when you're creating a subdivision, there are kind of different situations where you would be allowed a holding tank. And there are some situations where we wouldn't require this report at all. So we have a policy under our Section 7 policies. If it's over 30 acres in size, they don't require one of these. If they already have an existing dwelling there, which is the case in Lot 2 in this situation. The other situation where we would allow holding tanks is if there are no other feasible opportunities on an existing lot. The difference in this case, if we're creating a new lot, that's the part where under the Municipal Government Act, we're required to ensure that there are viable means of servicing. So we don't have pipe, then that would be through some sort of private servicing. The issue with creating new holding tanks is that from like an environmental aspect, I mean, it's a lot of traffic on the roads, and then that's also maintenance that adds large, heavy vehicles hauling water and wastewater around on our roads, then we have to maintain them, and then that increases the cost of that. So through our policies, we just say if you're going to create a new lot, it should have to have a way to dispose of that sewage on that lot. As for the cost of it, I mean, this is if you're creating a new lot, you're essentially creating something that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's something that can be accommodated through that value of that lot when they sell it. And then in terms of the buyers, I mean, that's something that people would kind of expect when and we hear this from time to time, when people get a lot that's difficult to develop, they tend not to like that. And if I know I understand it, this situation where it's kind of, yes, you have to beware, and they do, but down the line, somebody will buy that lot, and then they'll come to you and complain that, it's not able to be serviced and that type of thing, so.
Through the chair to the commission, I'd like to clarify, we do get buyers that buy these, that see that it has received subdivision approval, and then question why those studies weren't available when they're looking for them to show that it was a viable lot. And that's when they're doing their due diligence too. Unfortunately, some people think it's done, and then when they come in for their DP application, are stunned that none of those reports were done, or if it didn't have to do it. And that they have to then pay for all those studies as part of their DP application.
And that's a problem, how?
Because they also see that it's the the county approved it, they believe that it should have been serviceable.
Right,
And the older lots, I mean, like as he said, were already developed, there's different criteria, but when you're creating a new lot, we look to ensure under the subdivision rules and regulation that it can be serviced. It's part of the criteria that we're looking at.
The liability.
it might be a good discussion to be brought back up at committee of the whole, but find out what we can and cannot do according to the MGA. So I see that's part of the issue. So any more discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I will call the vote. Commissioner LaPrise,
In favor?
Commissioner Bigger,
In favor?
Commissioner Link,
In favor?
Commissioner Clausen,
In favor.
Commissioner Larson,
In favor.
Commissioner Kester,
In favor.
and Commissioner Eichert's in favor. I believe that brings us to the end of this Municipal Planning Commission meeting. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.